camera actually looks okay. Evening to everybody. Happy Monday to you. August 7th, 2023. If I look tired, it's because I am a little tired, but we'll get through this, no problem. How's everybody doing? Let's wait on a word here to make sure everybody can see me and hear me okay. Hey Luke, how you doing? Todd Bone. Todd, we'll see you here very shortly. Call the Wild. All right, cool. Phil, Jason, Slicky Mo, Jim, Captain Crow, Ken from Tennessee, all is on here. Good to see you, Ken. Hey, Mark, how you doing? TD, how you doing? All right, lot of Lima Charlies coming in loud and clear. Happy to see everybody on here. Brad, Johnny Cuz, Scott Garbs, Lima Charlie in Southern Illinois. Oh, Mega Mike. Hey, back, man. Reds, Tangle Tackle Army member. You see people on here that have the green name that because they have joined the Tangle Tackle Army. It's a membership thing through YouTube. If you want to look into that, get into that. The link is in the description of this video. Click on that. We have a private Discord page that you get access to. If you do join that, just make sure you do email me so I can get you that Discord link. And yeah, it's fun. We're on that Discord. I was just on there today talking around. A lot of fishing reports coming through, a lot of networking going on, a lot of really good information. We have information on there: fishing, hunting, recipes, boat rigging, custom tackle, buy, sell, trade, all that stuff. Steve Steele, good to see you. So yeah, if you want to join the Discord, Tangle Tackle Army, it helps support the channel tremendously, and it's a lot of fun being on that Discord. I'm on there every day talking to people. It's fun. So I'll answer the burning question here that I've gotten about 100 emails on in the last few days. The oil, or not the oil spill, but the gas spill here in Manistee from the Manitowoc. People have been emailing the crap out of me wanting to know if that's affecting fishing. So we'll just get that done. It is not. It has not affected fishing in any way. They have it cleaned up. The Manitowoc has been repaired, not fully repaired, but patched up. It's down in Muskegon right now getting a full repair. And so no damage or effect on the fishing. It looks like it didn't even get up on the beaches. It looks like we had just the right wind that kept it off the shoreline. They got it contained really fast. And there was a one of the, I don't know which news network it was, but they reported it was 49,000 gallons of diesel spilled in the lake. In reality, it was closer to about 1,000. 1,000's still awful, but it's way better than 49,000. So, yeah, way better. Ryan Purchase, good to see you back in Ludville, man. Paul Schmuckel, how you doing, man? How's married life, Paul? All right, for today, I've got some pizza from the Blarney Castle in Onekama. If you're up in Onekama, there's a little Blarney. It's not little. It's actually one of their bigger stores. But if you're in northern Michigan at all, you know the name Blarney Castle. They seem to own every gas station in every town. But Onekama is no exception. They have a nice store in there. It's a real nice store, actually. But their pizza in there that you can pick up. Their burgers, their steaks, and you name it. They got a real nice little setup there. Their deli is really good. This is not a paid advertisement, but I got a piece of their pizza right here. And it's good. And I'm hungry. So, my apologies, but you get to watch me eat. Yeah, the Brethren Mini Mart too, Ken. Yeah, they got good pizza in there too. I know this. I know that they actually they make up burgers every day for their. I mean, by burgers, I mean they actually they don't buy them frozen or anything. They actually get fresh burger out. They hand make them, cook them every day, and they go in their little. They got a little. I don't know, what do you call it? Little section there where you can get pizza or burgers or whatever the heck else they got. Man, those burgers are really good too. My wife has to make sure I don't eat too many of those because I like them too much. Hey, Bill Dickens, how you doing, man? Anyway, yeah, I keep saying oil spill because I'm an idiot. The gas spill has been cleaned up, so if you're coming up this way, you don't have much to worry about on that. We're up to about 120 people. I got 32 thumbs up. Thanks everybody for doing that. Just a reminder, all those thumbs up do help the channel. If you want to help the channel in the most minimalistic way, just tapping that thumbs up button and even subscribing helps this channel out tremendously. It helps us grow, helps us keep bringing these videos to everybody that you guys seem to like. Patrick Johan, good to see you from GRC Trolling Products is on here. And I always got to remind everybody of this. These live streams, Sunday/Monday night live streams, are proudly brought to you by Dreamweaver Lures. Check them out at dreamweaverlures.com. Link is down below in the description. Great people, great lures. I'm going to talk about a few of their things here in just a second. But let me get Paul Schmuckle. Married life is good. We haven't caught any salmon yet, but haven't made it. Okay, cool, Paul. Paul got married on this boat. About a month ago or so now. But I never had gotten a phone call like that for a charter. I'd just get a phone call or a text from a very nice person saying, "Can you marry us on the boat?" And that is such a big misconception. They think that, and it's nothing wrong. I thought this too before I became a captain. I thought that captains could marry people on boats, and it's not true. I think there may be a clause for international waters, maybe captains that way. But on the Great Lakes, I have to be ordained if I have to, or if I want to marry somebody. But got a really nice text. Can you marry us on the boat? And I said, I'm happy to if you come on here and get married on the boat, but I can't do it. But Paul Schmuckle and his wife came on, his now wife, and got married right here on the back deck while we were fishing. We didn't even pull lines. Just a nice, quick 2-minute ceremony. Lines were still set. I was just waiting for one of them to go off, and we had to postpone the ceremony, but it was a really cool setting. Really cool. If you want to see pictures of it, go on my Facebook page. The links to Facebook and Instagram are all that down below in the description, and you're welcome to check those pictures out. It was Candy, I believe was Candy, right, Paul? Your wife's name. Very nice people. Anyway, I'm gonna get another bite of pizza. All right. Yeah, Paul, thanks. Candy. All right. So we'll drink of water here. Thanks for the thumbs up. We just jumped up to 51 thumbs up, so that's cool. Yeah, liter of cola, Ryan? No. Do we sell liter of cola? Oh. All right, so let's do the fishing report here. So if you're new here, thanks for being here. First off, if you've been here a long time, thanks for still being here. What we're doing is we'll give you a fishing report out of Manistee on Lake Michigan. It may pertain to surrounding ports, but in all likelihood, probably not right now because the fish are moving quite often and quite quickly. So Ludington might be different, Frankfurt might be different, but I'll give you Manistee. If you're on here and you have information for those other ports, please jump on. Get that or put that information on here, and that's the other thing about the Discord that I like, because all that information is coming out. Anyway, fishing report out of Manistee. We were fishing down by the stick, and by the stick I mean the Ludington Lighthouse, up to just a couple of days ago. The fishing down there, I talked to one guy that fished down there, says it still remains to be good. However, the fish are scattering up down there a little more and more. And that's the only information I have down by Ludington. I don't know depth of water. I don't know baits that he used. I don't know anything like that. I didn't even want to pry into it too much. But I know there is likely still fish off Big Point Sauble. Probably off the bathhouses as well. Seems the last couple of days, or 2 days ago when I was down there, I saw a lot of boats off the bathhouses while I was mainly fishing right off the point from like the 4s to the 7s. And we were fishing, we were fishing anywhere from 100 foot of water up to 250 foot of water. We seemed to find fish out in that deeper water when we were down there. Whether or not they're still there, I couldn't tell you. Manistee, fish are, my gut feeling is we're like right on that precipice of that big horde showing up. It seems like we're getting more and more tight little pods every day. Where it was, a few days ago, it was troll, hit a couple, troll, hit a couple, and now we seem to be finding a little bit more active fish in a more, in a tighter area, where we're not trolling for so long before we're hitting a fish or having to spin back around, go back over a pod of fish. It seems like we're able to keep a 2-mile north or south troll and hit pods of fish all the way down through those areas, which is nice. It tells me that the fish are starting to get a little more congested in this area, which tells me, heck, it's August 7th already. We're coming right up on the door of those fish the big fish wanting to run up the river. So it's not surprising at all to me that they're starting to get a little more congested in those areas right out front of Manistee, staging even down to the south of Manistee and to the north of Manistee. So from what I'm hearing, fish are definitely from the 7s, which is down by Point Salvo, all the way up to the 15s, which is just off of or straight off Manistee. And here you go. I'm going to give you the magic number where they're at right now. They're in 80 foot of water out to 300 foot of water. And I know that sucks, but that's just the way it is. They seem to be scattered all through those areas. But the good news is, like I said, it's not like if you hit a pod of fish, you have to spin around on it and go back over them, because that might be the only pod in that area. Now it seems like we're able to troll more and hit pods as we're going through that troll. It's still not a bad idea sometimes if you hit a really good pod of fish to just spin it right back on a dime and go right back over that. So just got a notification. Riva King just joined the Tangle Tackle Army. Thanks for doing that, sir or ma'am. Appreciate you being on. But yeah, so really 80 foot of water out to 250 to 300 foot of water seems to be holding fish right now out of Manistee. Temp break, we've had north wind here for the last day and a half. Temp break is sitting right around 45 to 50 feet right now. In other areas I found it as deep as 60 to 65 feet. Seems like the further I got to the south, like down past the the 12s to the 10s, it seemed to get maybe a little deeper. But it seems to be from the norm right now. 45, 50, 55 feet is where the temp break's at right now. South troll today was a better troll, mainly because it was ripping out of the north pretty darn good. So going to With the Waves was definitely our producer. We set up this morning straight out of Manistee, middle of the 15s. I set up in close to 200 foot of water, put her on a south, and we had fish on within minutes. All plugs. Not all, let me take that back. It wasn't all plugs. Plugs were the dominant force today on that south troll. And I'll show you the best ones that we had today. White lightning in the UV. There's two or three different white lightnings made by Ace High, Silver Horde. One is a chrome white lightning. This is not the chrome. This, you can look inside and you can see that UV reflective material in there. This is the one that's really been going. I haven't even run it. I don't know if I have a chrome white lightning. That thing has been banging. The double glow, Dreamweaver double glow, or the Silver Horde Ace High double glow. You got to have that thing out there. That thing will go for you all day long if you got it in the spread. And then our Skittles plug. And that's not the real name of it. It's not the Skittles plug. We call it Skittles because they like to taste the rainbow. But that Skittles plug has been... That thing is by far my best coho plug, and lo and behold, we had a few coho out the last couple of days, and what did they want to bite on? That one right there. So Skittles plug, those other two. If I was only going to run 3 plugs, that would be the 3. If I was only going to run 2, Ace High or the double glow and the white lightning. Those things were on our. It was on our 300s, it was on our 225s, it was on 10 colors, it was on... We didn't run anything shallower than a 10 color. We didn't have anything up above that as far as long lines. The long lines dominated the spread today. We had 2 rigger bites, one out and down set at 60, that one a few times with the Shelly snack on there. And that's the Fuzzy Bear. Moonshine also makes a really good one, but you can't beat that Fuzzy Bear right there, made by Dreamweaver also. That was our only downrigger bite, which is surprising because we've been getting bit on the shooter, the center downrigger. Not crazy numbers, 1 or 2, maybe 3 times a trip, and that thing's been the Black Mercury Falling by Beckhold. Either that one is out there, or the Beckhold White Double Slick, the 11-inch ones. It's either the mercury falling or it's the white double slick. And I've been running that with that new blue-green dolphin fly from Tangle Tack, KRW flies, blue-green dolphin fly. If you can't get it right now, they should be building more by the day, because that fly has just been flying out of the store because it's been that good this year. So check the Tangle Tackle website, tangletacklecompany.com, if you want to get your hands on that fly. That thing has been my most consistent fly by far this year, aka the Hoochie Mama. You got it right, Call the Wild. So much, I mean, this is almost blasphemy, but so much so that fly has been good this year, I hardly have been running a pickled sunshine at all, or a Riverside. So I'm sure I'm going to get struck down by somebody for saying that. But that fly has been just a dominant force this year. So I have run pickled sunshine. I have got fish on it. Don't get me wrong. Pickled sunshine is a fantastic fly. The KRW Riverside is a fantastic fly. But I've been really trusting that fly this year. Just reminded me of something. I talked to Scott Argetsinger the other day from Dreamweaver. He stopped down on the boat. We had a nice conversation for a while. I like talking with Scott. He's such a good guy. But he informed me that Dreamweaver has pickled sunshine flies back in stock. So if you're looking to get your hand on some pickled sunshine, and who wouldn't? Pickled sunshine at dreamweaverlures.com is loaded back up with pickled sunshine. So if you're looking to get some, grab them. You're going to want them. There's no doubt. It's such a good fly. Yeah, I can't think how many I got on the boat. Pizza break. All right, somebody just asked me about, I saw a couple people asking about hooks on my plugs. So let me finish the fishing report and I'll touch on that for as long as I remember to. We have been getting some meat bites. The most consistent one, and it's not surprising, but this one produces all the time. My first mate was digging through the box here today. Tim's on there looking for a new rig to run. He's thrown to the side, and I'm looking at all these good ones, and he comes across this one, and I went, ooh, that's a good one. And sure enough, he started running it on a 400 steel. And this thing has taken, it took 2 or 3 hits today, and it took 2 or 3 hits last night, too. And that's just the first 2 times that we've run it. But so it's an 8-inch Dreamweaver, 8-inch. With the green holographic on a black blade, and on the back is a white crush. And then the rig itself, I think this might be a big water rig, but it's a Green Mile rig. Green Mile rig with it's a Rise Davis or Reese Davis, however you say it, Reese Davis head on there, with that like checkerboard gold. Is this a custom that I made, or is it? No, I think it's a big water. But Dreamweaver makes, or at least they did make a Green Mile rig. I don't know if they still do. They might have discontinued it. So every time the Green Mile rig is one of my all-time favorite ones. I just love that thing. Got really, really bristly tassels on it. They go through the water making such a good noise. And those Reese Davis heads are really, really good. But that thing's gone several times for us over the last couple of days. That's been great. He ran that on a 400 steel both days, and it got smoked. It got smoked again at the end. I'm sure we would have had another one on today, but when he pulled it in, the meat was just almost bit off at the head. So something got a hold of that without us knowing it, ripped off that meat strip, and that thing probably trolled for another hour and a half without us knowing that it was just dead in the water. But it's been really good. The other one that took a hit on was 10-inch UV Chrome Frog Dreamweaver Spin Doctor. That's good spinny anyway. And that is a GRC lime juice rig on there. And that thing's been a real productive one for me over the last couple of seasons. I picked that one up from GRC Trolling Products last year. I think they just came out with it last year, if I remember right. But I got a couple sent over to me and started running it, and that thing was really producing for me well last year. And of course, I put that thing down last night, and it was one of those ones where I took my low diver, pulled it out, changed it over to that rig right there and set her down at 140. No sooner tightened the drag, so it wasn't clicking out, and it was just pow. Must have set it right in front of that king's face. So really, I love it. I love it when that happens. Super exciting. And that thing went on 3 or 4 monster runs on our wire diver, our low wire diver on my side. And I'm thinking to myself, this is either just a really, really froggy 18 pounder or it's a 32 pounder. And it ended up being a really, really froggy 18 pounder. Such a good fish. I tell you what, we've caught several 30 pounders on this boat. 30 pounders don't fight like you think they would. You would think, they will take a run on you. They're just big, heavy, strong fish. But they seem to tucker out a lot faster than those super silver 18, 20 pounders. So when that thing smoked it last night, after about its third run, I thought, yeah, more likely it was about an 18, 20 pounder. That's what it was. But they have been super froggy lately. At the back of the boat, jumping over I tried to scoop one the other day. He actually jumped over the net, went to the other side around my center downrigger, jumped back over to the other side, and then jumped back. By jump, a foot out of the water, jump. And that was like a 15, 16 pound king. Finally got that thing in the hoop. But they have been super froggy, super froggy. So it's been a lot of fun. The fishing has been just fun. Like I said, what we ran today was 10 color took rips, 225 copper took several rips, 300 took rips, 400 steel took rips, downrigger 60 down took rips. What else? Low diver 140, and other than that, our diver's been pretty slow, but that could change any given day. Any given day. I will say this: the bite is off at about 8:30. From about 5 a.m. to about 8:30, it's been pretty darn steady. We did pick up a couple more after 8:30 a day, but for the most part, it has been pretty flat, nothing after about 8:30 and 9 o'clock. So get out there and get them while you can. Anyway, that's about all I got. That's about all I got. What do you got for questions? I'm sure I missed a bunch while I was yapping, filling my face with pizza, which I'm going to do now. So somebody asked if charter guys run sliders. Yeah, we run sliders all the time. Well, Muhammad Ali's on here. How deep of water were we trolling? We were out anywhere from 180 out to 300. But there's fish all through 80 to 100 foot, all the way out to 300 feet. Dave Robbins, hey, good to see you. Dave just fished with us this morning. You guys tore him up. You did a great job. They went home with a really nice box of fish. All nice, big. All big mature kings except for one steelhead. How do I keep the spiders off my boat at the slip? It's a losing battle, man. It is an absolute losing battle. The best trick I've ever heard, and I've never tried it, but I've heard people swear by it, is dryer sheets. Like a bounced dryer sheet, you tie them on. Most spiders get on your boat by climbing up the dock lines or by parachuting in on a web, but most of them climb across on your dock lines. So one guy told me you tie dryer sheets on your dock lines, it'll keep them off. They don't like that. Right there, Dan Canham just said dryer sheets. Peppermint oil, never heard that one. That might work too. That's a good question. How do I touch up hooks on the boat? If they get really bad, Richard, I change them. I don't sharpen them on the boat. I just don't take time to do it. I check them. If they look pretty good, I send them right back out. If they get really, really bad, I change them. Somebody just asked, I think Memorial Day weekend, Riverside area, are they going to be staging? They could be. It's hard to say right now. Every year is different. You never know. If they stage up out front, which they're starting to do, if we got 3 or 4 days or even 2 or 3 days of a good hard north wind and a cold rain or something in that mix, we might get a big run of them 3 days from now. Who knows? But let's hope not. Let's hope. I mean, the way it's forming up right now, we might have 2 or 3 weeks coming up of really good fishing. Oh, hooks on plugs. Yeah, so somebody wanted to know, thanks for the reminder, whoever that was. What am I doing on my plugs? That is my setup right there. So they come with 2 hooks. One up here off that barrel swivel, and then the trailer hook. I take that front hook right off. That's what I've been doing now all this year. The reason being is a lot of times that front hook, they'll get on that trailer hook, which is most of the time where they're hooked at, on the trailer hook. They're able now, I mean, if you look at it, they can pull that thing around any which way they can. And what they'll actually do is wrap that thing right up around that front hook. They'll lock it in there, tighten it up, and they'll get an angle where they can pull that thing right out of their mouth. So I've been taking that front hook right off there. My overall plan is I want to get bead chains, change out every one. I'm not a big fan of the braid line. That thing will still sometimes wrap into that hook, and then you'll have the same problems. So my overall plan on this off season is change out every one of my plugs to a bead chain. It's going to be a big task, but it can be done. The other solution to that is get a hot glue gun, put a dab of hot glue right down the middle of that hook. So if that string gets wrapped up in there, it can't seat itself inside that hook. It can't get locked in there like an anchor. But that's my hook setup. Just take the front hooks off. You see I got that on everyone. Good question though. Ryan Perch saying a clear plastic tube works really good too. I've never thought of that. There's probably a million different ways you can do it, but yeah, absolutely. Do I find that I lose more fish on certain lures? Honestly, until I started modifying my hook sets or my hook patterns on my plugs, I felt that I've lost more fish on plugs over the years than anything else. Matt Clark wants to know, does anybody salmon fish off a pontoon? I'm sure they do. Matt, I see pontoons out fishing all the time out here. We've seen about every contraption you can imagine out here. We saw a jet ski out there one day that was rigged up, and I mean rigged up for salmon fishing. Had a cooler on the back, had like a rack system with a downrigger. It was pretty impressive. Ken Brescia just joined the Tangle Tackle Army. Welcome aboard, Ken. Appreciate that, man. All right, anything else you guys want to talk about? We can do that, or we can get out of here. We're a half hour in. We've got 200 people here. Thanks everybody for being here on a Monday night. You got any other questions? Let me know. How do you not over tighten drags when you're trolling fast? Good reels help. Good reels really, really help. You find that more and more on your diver reels than anything else, the creeping out. And a couple tricks on that is a rubber band. Take a rubber band, put a half inch around the main line, pull that rubber band back and put it around the handle. And somebody just sent me a super chat, and I did not see it. I think it was Craig Rao. Craig, if that was you, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat, supporting the channel. Very nice, yeah. I don't have my fancy super. What do I got? Normally I have a reel. Oh, what do I got? I normally got a reel around I can crank on or something when I get a super chat. I got a bunch of reels over here, but they're all full. There. We'll give you a little line or a little drag scream. How about that? There you go. Thanks for the super chat. You just got a drag scream. BC is a fish hawk a necessity. How is it currently figured out? Okay. It is a fish hawk a necessity. Everybody chime in. What you think? I will tell you my 2 pennies on this regarding a fish hawk. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is almost impossible to figure out currents. It's not impossible. I shouldn't say that. Because you can look at your divers and you can look at your center downrigger or downrigger, and you can tell which way currents are blowing. The thing that you can't tell is Am I into a following current? Am I trolling with a following current? Am I trolling into a current? Am I trolling through a side current? Side current's probably the easiest one you can figure out because you can see which way that current's blowing. And this morning it was ripping. Absolutely, we could tell which way it was moving, but we couldn't tell if we were into it, cross-sectioning it, following. That's where your fishhawk comes in, because you might be doing 2.5 speed over ground, and your lure, your spoon down there is doing 1.7 speed over ground, and it's just, or it might be the opposite. You might be doing 2.0 speed over ground, and you're going into a current at 2.9, and your spoon down there is just doing way too much, or a plug, or whatever, flash or fly, whatever. So yeah, I think a fishhawk. Long story short, long-winded answer, yeah, it's absolutely 100% worth it. Call the Wild, you disagree, say you go without it, hey, that's absolutely fine. Jason C said you get laughed at because you say it's more important than your grab. I'm telling you right now, if they made a law where you can only have one piece of electronics on the boat, you had to get rid of everything except for one, I'd keep my fishhawk. I can figure out my depth. You know the area well enough. I can figure out. I don't need to see sonar. No fish are around. There's a lot of ways around those things. Fishhawk, in my opinion, is the most important thing on the boat. All right, I just had a bunch of comments come ripping through there. I missed about half of them. When they come through so fast, everybody, I'm sorry, I missed a bunch of them. All right, we are... So somebody just asked if instead of running a charter, would I consider going out on a boat? I'm assuming maybe your boat, a smaller boat, to give info. And for a while there, I did that, and I didn't feel right about it. It takes a long time to get a boat dialed in, a lot longer than I could give you in a 6-hour. Reva King, thanks, man, for the super chat. Let me give you a real scream on that. Thank you very much. Oh, here we go. That's what it sounds like. So yeah, I used to do that for people, and I charged them just normal charter rate to go on their boat. But I just didn't feel like I was giving people their money's worth, because it takes so much longer than 6 hours to get a boat dialed in. I mean, I would love to be able to go on your boat and say, okay, you gotta change this, you gotta do this, or you're doing this great, keep doing this. I would love to be able to do that, but it just takes so much longer than that to really figure out a boat and get it dialed in. So I quit doing that. My biggest, or I guess my best advice would be take a charter. And I'm not saying take one with me. Take one that you trust and you can ask questions on in your area or this area, wherever you want to. Just take a charter and ask questions and take notes. Take mental notes. Take pictures. I get people on here all the time. They want to take pictures of my lures or my setups or anything, where I'm fishing, my graph, my GPS. I'm happy with that. Not all charters want that, but I'm happy with that. So pick a charter that'll do that for you. You'll have good success just going on a charter and picking their brain. Simple Believer. You just sent me a super chat with a message, and I missed the message. Something about popping a Dipsy, but you get the real scream. Thanks, bud. Put your message back on so I can see it, or if somebody saw his message and you can relay it to me, please let me know. I always try to answer all the super chat messages. I hate missing them. It's a good sound. Michael Bordeaux, in big ways do I put less rods out? That's a funny thing that you say that. It's good timing, because this morning, because of the ripping side currents that we were having, we actually pulled our divers on one side because they were in such danger of swooping back, getting into our sliders on our downriggers or our downriggers in general. So on the side that had the bad current, we pulled those divers. And then when we'd switch directions, we'd just switch sides. If you pop a Dipsy that don't trip with a fish on, do you pop it? Okay, let me make sure I'm understanding. Do you pop a Dipsy that didn't pop with a fish on? So if you get a fish on your diver and you don't think it's popped, you don't want to take the rod and set it back like a Bassmaster hook set. What you can do is point the rod almost right at the fish, maybe a little, maybe 10 to 15 degrees above it. Just put your thumb lightly on the spool and pull it straight back. And if it had not popped, it will pop right then. But if you have your diver set right, most kings, 8% of kings are going to pop those divers. If you get them set wrong, you might have an issue with that. You'll know you have them set too tight if they're not popping, and you'll have them set too loose if you're getting wave surges and they're popping that way. So yeah, you can double check on it, but if you got them tweaked in right, they're going to pop with a king on there. Thanks for the super chats, everybody. Thanks for the thumbs up also. Slicky Mo, you just painted gold on the back of your monkey puke. Nice. Dan Canham, I agree with you. That was a great question. A lot of good questions on here tonight. Thoughts on running naked meat versus running it with teasers? I've never done it without teasers, so I guess my thoughts would be I've never done it. That's just an honest answer. I think the teasers play a big part, not only in visual appearance, but also sound. If you look, like I said, on that Green Mile, those are very, very stiff teasers. They make a noise going through the water, and fish pick up on that stuff. Their lateral lines are made to pick up on vibrations in the water. Is there such a thing as too long of a lead on a diver? That's a good question, Chad. I'm sure there is. Mine are 20 to 25 feet, and that seems to work really, really well. Steve Steele, thank you for being on here, and thank you for the nice comments there. Robert Mott, yeah, you can tell speed on your downrigger cables. Yeah, I mean, but you gotta have somewhat of a calibrated eye to do that. I would say if you're going out for the first time or it's your first season, you're not going to know how to do that yet. So that's where that fishhawk really plays in. And fishhawk doesn't pay me to say that. I'm telling you from experience. I think the fishhawk just takes that learning curve and just almost flattens it right out when it comes to currents and directions. Somebody just asked, what's my favorite salmon recipe? Man, smoked is so good. Hugh Merrill was on here last night. Hugh had a trip on last night with some good guys, good friends. And Huey brought on some smoked salmon that he did. Excuse me. I think he's on here tonight. That stuff was crack. That stuff was so good. He left extra on the boat, and it was everything in my power not to eat it, every ounce of it last night before I went to bed. But I saved it. I saved it to today, gave some to my first mate and some of my customers. So, yeah, that stuff is smoked salmon, you can't beat it. Salmon boil, yeah, absolutely. I love it deep fried too. Let me look, hold on. Dan Rotman, will the salmon be staging earlier or, hold on, let me just see that. All right, Dan Rotman just sent me a super chat. Thanks for that, first off. He wanted to know about staging salmon. Do I feel they're going to stage earlier down south or up here? It all depends on the weather, Dan. All depends on the weather. It depends on who's going to get that cold water first. A lot of times it's up here first in the season. Sometimes it's down there. It's who's going to get that north wind, cold rain, that thing that's going to push those salmon make them want to push into the rivers. So I just figured out I can actually scroll back and see my chats. That's good. Hugh, yeah. Huey, that stuff was great. You cook up more. You smoke up more. I expect some delivered to my house. I will pay you for it. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat and the question. Somebody just sent a long question through there, and I missed the majority of it. Just flipped through, and I don't really want to go back on that one just now because we've got a lot of questions coming in. But if you want to put your question back up, I'm happy to take a look at it. Bob Hunter, a fish hawk will make a good fisherman even better. Yeah, it helps me. if that's what you're referring to, yeah, I resemble that. I'm not that much of a good. That's not true. I'm not that great of a fisherman. I just drive in circles till something bites. All right. I enjoy talking with you guys. You guys are all fun. I love the joking around. Is a fish hook necessary for 100 foot of water or less, like your area? Yeah, I would say definitely. If you're trolling and there's currents around and different temperatures, yeah, absolutely. Somebody just asked a really good question. Who was that? BC. So he asked, he's trolling for walleye and other things. Should he see the same type of marks on his hummingbird for salmon? So salmon, the way I have my graph set up, my back graph I think is at 85, and my front one is custom at 95. And what I'll see on my graph when I go over salmon, you're not going to see the traditional hooks like you're going to see. If you're slow trolling or drifting, you're not going to see those traditional hooks, just like it's going under the boat as a bent hook. What I see on my graph is a long line because I'm trolling over those fish at 2.0 to 2.5, somewhere in there. Now, I'm no expert on this, and somebody will probably correct me because I'm probably way off on this thing. But the way I have mine set up with a lesser kilohertz, as I troll over that fish, I can actually see that fish moving through the water. So I can see my downrigger balls, straight lines across my graph. I can actually see those fish come up underneath my downrigger lines, come into them, up above them, back down under them, because I'm trolling. It's marking them over and over and over again at that lesser kilohertz. If I'm way off on that thought process, somebody correct me, please, because I'm known to be an idiot on some things like that. But those settings really, really work for me. Dave Ristow says I'm right. If I'm right, then it was a lucky guess. But that's the kind of marks I see on salmon, and that's the kind of marks I like to see. I don't want to see just a hook. I want to see that those fish are moving. Call the Wild says I'm right also. Yeah, lucky guess on my part then. But yeah, that's why I run those lesser kilohertz. I don't run. I do not run the chirp, medium, high chirp, anything like that. Lesser kilohertz. I can watch those fish move through my downriggers. It's only so wide of a cone, but to me, it's a lot of good information. A lot of good information. I guess it's like a panoptics, even a poor man's panoptics. You can see fish moving up in your spread, things like that. So, yeah, there's good information to be had. There's a long-winded answer on probably a pretty easy question. All right, anything else? Yeah, Mark Pearson, yeah, concurring with what I'm saying. All right, somehow we got 45 minutes into this thing. A lot of good questions on here tonight. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll get out of here. Gilles Osmond, if I'm saying that name wrong, man, I apologize. So somebody just asked, what's my thought process on fish? And it's funny you say that because I was just having this conversation with Dave Robbins and Danielle and everybody else on the boat today, Chloe and Michaela, I think her name was. But anyway, those are my customers today. We were just having this conversation today about what I think the Kings do. And again, I could be way off on this, but my thought process is Kings are like us. All animals are like us. Really, we want to have food. We want to be able to rest with shelter. My thought process is the kings feed when they want to feed. Typically, it's early morning, mid-afternoon, right before dark. Maybe a few other times in between, depending on moon phase, things like that. It's a totally different animal. Just like us, you want to come up, you want to get your food, you want to get your feed bag on, and just like us, you want to go rest. You know, you want to store that energy. I do not think that a king's group of kings is going to come feed in the morning after they get their bellies full, that they swim off 12, 15, 20 miles to go out in deep, deep, deep water and rest out there. I think what they will typically do is they will feed in the areas they want to feed in. They'll go into deep enough water where they feel comfortable. Maybe that's 200, 250 foot of water, and I think they will go right down to the bottom and they will lay on the bottom. And kings have small air bladders, and that's what you mark on your graphs. It's not the body of the fish, it's actually the air bladder inside the fish that you're marking. I think that they'll go right down to the deeper water, sit down on the bottom. Without them moving in the small air bladder, I just don't think we're marking them on the bottoms. It makes no sense to me that they would swim off great miles, great distances, just to come back half a day later, a few hours later, just to eat again. Just makes more sense. They're traveling the most minimal distance to be able to go rest, just like we do. You know, we eat our turkey dinner, then we crawl our way over to the recliner, turn on the Detroit Lions, and fall asleep. I think the kings do the exact same thing. Maximum feeding, minimal effort after that. They stay in your area, and that's why they show right back up when it's time. All right, cool. That's just my 2 pennies on that. Patrick Forster, how long do my lures stay out before I change them to a different color? You know, Patrick, it depends on if I feel that it's a color change is necessary, or do I feel that the kings have just shut down for the day. If I feel like they just shut down, excuse me, which is very common, I mean, they do that every day. If I feel they just shut down, I don't change much at all. I want my A-game lures still on when they activate again. But if I feel it is a color thing, like stained water, clear water, sunlight, overcast, fog, rain, thunderstorms, if I feel like it is a color thing, if I feel like I'm in a prime time feeding time and my colors are not working, I'm more apt to change up colors then. But I have A-game colors and I have B-game colors, and I have about 1 million C-game colors. I rarely get into my C-game colors. It's A-game, B-game, and normally back to A-game. All right, cool. Good questions. All right, wait a minute. Want to wrap it up here, everybody? We're 48 minutes deep into this thing. If you've got any more questions, I'll give it another 20, 30 seconds because of the lag on here. And then if no more questions are coming through, we'll get out of here. You're welcome, Dan Canham. Good to see you on here, man. Dan Canham is one of the moderators on our Discord channel. He does a great job. I want to give him a public thank you for doing that for me. I wanted to say this also. I almost forgot about this. So I saw a video, Dakota Joe's Outdoors. Joe is a huge follower on this channel. Friend, good guy. He posted a video on his YouTube channel, Dakota Joe's Outdoors, of him towing in a boat today. And by his own words, he said that his buddy on this boat, they had engine troubles or whatever. They were drifting out on the radio all morning trying to get another boat to help. Nobody responded. They actually called Joe in Buckley, Michigan. Joe ran all the way to Frankfurt with his boat, went out there and got them. These guys were out to almost 500 foot of water, if I remember right, and floating on their way to God knows where. On the radio trying to get help. Nobody would help them. That's, you know what I want to say there. That is not the way to do things out here. We're all going to have boat trouble someday. I asked myself the question, would I cancel, if I heard somebody like that and I was on a charter, somebody that was in distress, would I cancel my charter? I think the answer is yeah, I would. I I'd probably prorate the charter, maybe even not even charge them, depending on how long we had fished. But I cannot, in good mindset, and with karma being what it is, ignore somebody on the water that is drifting out into deeper water in distress. I was sorry to hear that. And I know how many boats are out of Frankfurt right now. I mean, there's probably hundreds. That's all I'm going to say on that. You know where I'm going with that. That's just a shame that nobody would go out there and help these guys. I don't know who they are, but Joe, good job to you for going out there and doing the right thing. That was the right thing to do, man. Good job. Anyway, enough said on that. All right. You guys ready? Get out of here. I'm going to finish my pizza. Name on the video and channel again. It's Dakota Joe's Outdoors. Yeah, a lot of people, I hear you guys. Yeah, a lot of people on here I'm sure would have done the right thing on that. It just surprised me that so many people did not. That was shocking. Anyway, let's go out of here. Next Sunday, 7 p.m. Hope to have Scott Argensinger on here next weekend. Schedules just haven't matched up yet. Scott and I will be talking about some more tactics here for August fishing. We'll have a great time. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Be safe.